Good morning. You're never going to guess where we are. We got up at 6:30 this morning and we made our way to Ottawa. And we went through snow, the first snowfall of the season. And we are in Ottawa at the Mexican Embassy. So we're at the Happy Goat Coffee Company. And we're here to, it feels like we're on step 59 of a 1,000-step journey, but we're one step closer to where we want to be, and we're going to try more temporary residency. So stay tuned.
One mic here. So in order to prepare for this visit at the embassy, we had a whole bunch of documents that we had to prepare. So there are two ways to get your temporary residency. There's a financial solvency threshold. So you either have to have X amount of dollars in investments and prove that you have those, or you have to make X amount of money in salary. So now you qualify independently, both Laura and I. So you don't put all of your assets together to hit the threshold. You have to each meet it. So I have a whole stack of documents here. I think we cut down 4 trees. And that's because every page of the investment stuff has to be stamped by a bank officer and initialed, and then you have to take copies of all of those as well and show up at the embassy with all of that. So we went the investment route. The threshold for the investment is $77,000 Canadian at this point in time. Now that threshold goes up every year. There's a lot of chatter about if you're ever going to do this, you should do it now because it's escalating quickly. So we're here. We're excited to see how this is going to go. We also had to do pictures, which was fun. We have different size pictures of both of us because that wasn't very clear on what size we really needed. So we think we're covered. And we had to bring our passports and a whole bunch of other documentation. So our appointment's in about 30 minutes, and we're glad you're along with us to see how this works. So that maybe you're taking this journey as well, and you know what to expect when you come to the Mexican Embassy in Ottawa looking for residency.
Notice you have separate accounts.
So here we are.
Yes, we are.
So we found a very quiet corner in the bottom of the building. Mexican Embassy is 10 floors up, and we had our interview. Michael, how do you think that went?
It didn't go well. So here's what's happened since we last gave you an update. We waited for 2 hours. They checked our documents. They fingerprinted us. They took pictures of us. Then we got called back into the office for the interview. And the guy was different.
It was fine.
No, he was different. So he wasn't friendly at all. No eye contact, just kind of asked questions, looked at paperwork, and questioned everything that we had, questioned how we plan on supporting ourselves in Mexico if we ever get there, which at this point I'm not sure that's going to happen. And kind of left us with the feeling like we didn't pass or weren't accepted. There were some issues with the paperwork. So we said, well, you'll have to go back to your bank to do something different with this and something different with that. But then he gave it back to me and didn't actually say, go do that and come back. What he said was, why don't you go walk around and come back around 3 o'clock this afternoon, which is about 2 hours from now.
Okay.
And because I know you traveled quite a distance, he said what they were usually doing was telling people to come back this Friday, which is 2 days from now. So he saved us from having to drive back to Ottawa again, which makes me think maybe we are going to get the temporary residency, because if he was just going to say no, why would he wait 2 hours to say no and then send us home? That sounds weird, but not a good vibe overall.
Well, I tried to make a funny little quip because when I'm nervous, I tend to use humor, and I got a very quick little elbow from somebody.
But you were really stressed. Like, you were very stressed out.
Because it's a professional situation, and I think you just have to answer what's been posed to you, not necessarily talk about your life story and things like that, because he was all business. 100% business.
It wasn't a life story. I made the quip that usually when I tell people what I do, their eyes glaze over, which is 100% true. Nobody's interested in IT. Well, at least for the
That's fine. And I took that for an opening for him to say, oh, you must be part of the cartel. Anyway, so this is our intermediate recording. So we're walking around, we got 2 hours to blow, and we're not absolutely sure that any of this trip was successful at this point.
I feel very nervous.
But we'll know in a few hours, and if we got to do something different, come back with more documents, and that's just what has to happen.
Well, and I will say the ladies at the front desk were lovely. They were kind, they were very professional, and just very personable, both of them.
Okay, that's it for now. Till next time, in 2 hours.
See you shortly.
So we are now driving home. We're leaving Ottawa, and we waited until 3:30, and we went back to the embassy in the Mexican embassy in Ottawa, and they had our visas for us. So we got what we came for. It was a long day. It was a stressful day, but yeah, the visas are now in our passports. I'm driving if you can't tell. And yeah, so that's good news. So there is that's part one. So this road is long that we travel. So now the next time we enter Mexico, we have 30 days to go to one of their immigration offices and get the actual residency card. And that can take some time as well. And if you go to Mexico and then you leave without that residency card, you start the whole thing over again. So then we have to go back to Ottawa and get another visa to go down and do it again. So you're almost a little bit stuck in Mexico until you get this residency card. Now, it could turn out we walk in and they just hand it to us and it's a simple one-day thing. But they kind of insinuated that's not the case, and there's red tape at that end as well. And it could take up to 30 days to get the card, which could be problematic, and that we may not be able to stay there for 30 days. But yeah, so the good news is this part is completed, and we have the residencies that we came to get from an Ottawa perspective.
So we got it. As Michael said, I was very, very excited. We had to wait, but it was definitely worth the wait. The lady was very, very kind. She called us in. We had to sign a photocopy of our passport, and she was able to explain a little bit more of the particulars. So we are going back in January, well, the end of December, and we have 30 days to get the second half of our visa stamped. So I think mission number 2 is going to be to contact maybe an immigration lawyer and make sure that we get that done. Michael had actually bought something which he will talk a little bit more about that gives names of people that can help you with the process. So we expect that we will do that second piece in January. So you'll need to stay tuned for those pieces. But can't believe how unbelievably happy and excited we are. It's been a very, very, very long day, but it took the time that it needed to take, and they were very good at helping us. So even though we were extremely nervous, I guess it was worth it, and it all paid off.